want to say thank you to the channel members. Welcome if this is your first time here. Welcome back if you are a returning supporter. My name is Shell, and this is Nurturing Conversations. I want to say thank you to Kimberly Davis, Journey with Kiki, Happy 1178, and Lovely Samira. Thank you for all of your love and support, and I hope that you are enjoying your channel member benefits. Here's this disclaimer, and I will be back right after this. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, I'm here to give you the disclaimers for this here live. Listen, I do not tolerate disrespect. That's in any way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it's towards me, towards anyone that appears on the screen, towards anyone that appears in the chat. If you have not decided to be a better person, most people will tell you to leave, but I'm going to tell you to stick around because maybe something that is said today will encourage you to do so. Now, I am not a mental health professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone, regardless of how much you feel like you are alone, how many times you have felt that, you are not alone. And number two, you can overcome anything that life throws at you. There will be curse words, there will possibly be tears, but knowing me, it probably will be. And my opinions are my opinions. Your opinions are your opinions. We are here to have a nurturing conversations in regards to our opinions so that we will have a better understanding of each other. That's all I got for right now. I hope that you enjoy this nurturing conversation. Let's get to it. Wait, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. That helps me say suggested on YouTube. Make sure that you type in the chat. Also leave a comment and share it with your friends. That's all I got. Let's get into this conversation. I love you. Peace. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Happy Mother's Day to everyone that is a mother, that is expecting to be a mother, or currently, have yet to deliver. Happy Mother's Day to you. And I want to say Happy Mother's Day to people who are like me, who have raised a bunch of kids but don't have any kids of your own, because technically you're a mother because you nurtured some people. This is Nurturing Conversations. Today we're going to talk about shifted perspective. It's not going to be a long one because I know that it's Mother's Day. My mother is here, and we about to watch, or we about to watch. We are going to watch Mother by Jennifer Lopez on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. I'm definitely going to do a review on it for my channel. But anywho, today we're talking about shifted perspectives. Kira, I don't think she's feeling well. Are you staying in or are you going out? Okay, thank you. Sorry, family's here, so you know how that be. But today we're going to talk about shifted perspectives. I had another topic that I was going to talk about, but I was like, ooh, I should talk about shifted perspective first and then talk about that topic. When I'm talking about shifted perspectives, I had a conversation with someone this week. Actually, I had a conversation with several people this week, and it opened up my eyes to a lot of things. It opened up my eyes to business. It opened up my eyes to personal relationships. Even just this journey of healing and self-discovery has definitely allowed me to focus more on who I am and what I want, why I want those things, how I plan to go about getting those things. So the last couple of weeks, I've been in the pitching space. I haven't really done anything like as far as pitching or even talking about my business in the last 2 years, mainly because of like my father's passing, my mother's health situation, my health situation. So I haven't really been doing too much of anything. And so this year, I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get back out here and see, just see where I'm at with it. Like if it's something I want to continue on doing, do I need to do something different? Like I'm just trying to find my way, right? So I'm pitching my business. I'm going to networking events and I'm talking to people, and I realized that I am more narrowed now in what I want to do as far as my business. Before I was like, oh, I could do this, and this, and now it's like, no, I really only want to do this, and when I say I really only want to do this, like I will do others, I will offer other services, but I mainly just want to focus on this because for me, I'm talking about music administration. That's the most important part of any music artist, producer, singer, songwriter. That's the most important part of their career. That's where all of the money lies. So I was like, I just want to focus on that. So I'm pitching my business, and everybody was like, "Oh, you should do this. You should do this. Why don't you do this? You need to be a little bit more advanced in this." And just it's a lot of. Oh, one moment. I'll be right back. The toilet done threw up. Sorry. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I am so sorry. So sorry. I'm talking and I'm like, did she just? Yep, she did. Had to clean it up, clean her up. I'm back. Shifted my perspective. That's what we're talking about. But I had a shifted perspective because hi Storm. Earlier, my niece, she has this thing that she do where she's like, "Can I have a hug?" And I never deny a child a hug, so I hugged her, and like she just laid on me. Like usually she's like running around, playing and everything, and I'm like, I think she's getting sick, and so I just monitored her, put a little Vic salves or that's Vic salves on her to like, cause she's sound congested, so I'm like, okay, let me put that on her. And then when she came in, she's she has a little TV and everything behind me or whatever. So she laid down and I'm like, yeah, she's definitely not feeling good because she would usually be running around. And then I was just talking and then that just happened. But anyways, I was telling y'all. So I'm doing my business, um, and I'm talking to these different people in the industry, or not even in the music industry. They're in like the tech industry, and I'm talking to them, and I'm like, okay, I have this idea for a platform. In order for me to build out my platform, I'm going to need upwards of $100,000, and so I'm looking into alternatives or something that I could just build out an actual MVP. Sidebar: I had personally built out a MVP and everything, got artists on it and everything, and then I switched hosting and forgot that I'm supposed to take the files from the other hosting platform. So now I have to start over from scratch, and it's not easy. So I'm not saying that to deter you if you're thinking about starting your own business. I'm saying make sure that this is what you want to do, because just make sure that it's what you want to do. So anyway, so I'm talking to these different people, and I'm pitching my business, and it's like, well, I got awarded grants, and I'm like, okay, I utilize the grants to like further the business along, right? Further the business, make sure that everything, and they're like, no, we want you to push it further, and I'm like, okay, I could do that. And so I kind of like stepped away from the computer. I stepped away from all things business. I'm just like, I'm just going to enjoy life. I was outside, just sitting and listening to the birds and watching the squirrels and the rabbits run. I was just in nature, like, you know what? Having come back after doing it for so long and like taking that break, it just made me realize, it shifted my perspective to say, I wasn't really focusing on the people that I was helping. I was focusing on the industry and what did they want me to do so that, and I was like, I need to get back to focusing on the artist. I need to get back to focusing on the artist. So then I just sat back and I looked at the area that I'm in and I'm like, okay, how can I help? What can I do to help? And so I was like, I know that there's not a lot of performance opportunities. So I was like, let me start hosting concert series. I know that there's not a lot of information being told about different things. So let me share on the podcast, or let me put together a music business seminar. And so I'm putting all these things together, and it was just like, I need to focus more on the people who matter. 2022, I learned that I am the most important person in my world right now. Because if I'm not okay, anything that I do, anywhere that I go, like nothing will be okay if I am not okay. So I spent 2022, I'm still in the process of it, just focusing on myself, learning, growing, letting go. Letting go is the like biggest part of everything that I am learning. Because when you're like going through life, you like to hold on to things like memories. Like you got memories, like things, whatever you experience in your life will always be a part of your life. Like I think we should start telling people that, hey, whatever you experience in your life will always be a part of your life. It won't be at the forefront of your mind, but it will always be a part of your life. And that causes shifted perspectives also. Because say you've been in a bad relationship, right? Um, Sometimes people will be like, I'm never getting another relationship, or I'm never doing this again. But for me, I was talking to someone and they helped me put into perspective. They shifted my perspective. They literally shifted my perspective about a previous relationship that I was in, and I pondered on that thing for a while. I pondered. You know how when people are telling you, and you're like listening, like I, some people you tell them and they like automatically get defensive and be like, nah. I was actually listening because it's like here's how I felt because I was in it, and this is what I thought, and this is like how I perceived everything to be. But then if you don't have older friends, you should get you some older friends, some OGs, some seasoned people, some people who have been on this earth a lot longer than you, because they can help shift your perspective. Even when I was talking to my mentors, or even I even called I even called people who will be considered my competitives, and I talked to them about what it is that I'm doing, and just hearing how they instantly, because I'm talking to people about who I am and what I do, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, you should do this, and they was like, but when I talk to the people who actually matter, like the people in the industry, the people that's like trying to get in the industry, they're like, oh yeah, I definitely need you. Let's sit down, let's do a consultation. But it's like people who don't really care about the industry but can make money off of it. So it shifted my perspective. Like I don't necessarily need you. I just need your resources. That's what I need. I be telling people I don't need your finances because I already have people that will pay me to do what I'm doing. I just need your resources. I just need to be able to say, hey, I'm hosting a concert series, and I can talk. I can tap into these major music sponsors here. That's what I need. Resources. Resources. So it was only after I shifted my perspective, because before, when you a small business, you're like, yeah, I need to get grants and loans, and you got to do all of this. But then I started thinking about, no, if I get your resources, if I can connect with the people that you're connected with, if they're sponsoring your thing and you do, and you barely do what you say you're doing, I can show them that I actually do this, and then I could get the same sponsors. Because for me, I tell y'all, I am definitely studying the game. A lot of people don't start a business because it's like, oh, it's always, I don't have money. But I'm going to tell you this. If you're thinking about starting a business this week, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to your local business. It's got to be like a small business association or something like that, and figure out what you need to start an LLC. Figure that out. Figure out what you need to start an LLC, and then once you start your LLC, go to the IRS.gov and get you an EIN. I ain't gonna tell you to go and get bank accounts and credit cards. I ain't gonna tell you to do all of that. I'm gonna tell you to find something that you love to do. If it's makeup, if it's writing books, if it's graphic design, if it's whatever, trucking, whatever it is, find something that you love to do. Don't do it for the money. And I'm saying that because a lot of people be doing things for money, and then when they don't get the money that they think that they're supposed to get, they just give up. That's what I'm saying. Find something that you are passionate about. I told this story here before, but I'll say it again, because I grew up, or I come from a long lineage of teachers, professors, tenure professors, Sunday school teachers, special ed teachers, like teachers. Like when I say I have teachers, like generations of teachers, and I said, I'm not going to be a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher. Why would I? Why? Why would I be a teacher? Why would I do that? And so it wasn't until like, I want to say, before I got ready to turn 40, I was like, maybe I should give this teacher thing a try, right? And so I was like, on my 39th birthday, I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to remove that thing that I have with being a teacher, and I'm going to be a teacher. And ever since I said that, it seemed like my world just opened up, and life is just amazing. It's amazing. So I said that to say that very thing. You have to shift your perspective, right? Because if you don't want to do something because, oh, I don't know if it's going to bring me a lot of money. Oh, I don't know. Think about what you're doing right now. Are you happy? Are you happy? Yeah, you're probably making a lot of money, but are you happy? Do you have peace? Are you able to sleep at night? Do you find yourself complaining about your job, or are you happy to go to your job? See, these are questions that we have to ask ourselves. I began to ask myself, in 2021, actually, it was the end of 2020. I began to ask myself, it was like, why do I not go after the things that I know I'm capable of doing? Fear. Not fear that I will fail, fear that I will be successful. Because then if I'm successful in that, then more people will require me, or there will be there will be, hey, can you do this? So I'm like, you know what? 39, I threw caution to the wind. So as I stepped over in 40, I literally been doing everything that I was afraid to do before. Like, I gave this analogy to someone. I was talking to somebody. I was like, you ever get a whooping? I don't mean to cause anybody any trauma or anything like that, but you ever get a whooping and you're crying, and then after the whooping, you're like, why was I crying? And then you analyze the whole entire process and you're like, I don't know why I was crying because that really didn't hurt. I think it's the thought of being hit and then your skin. It, once I accomplished the thing that I was afraid to do, I asked myself, why was I afraid to do that? When the entire time I knew that I could do it. It's because things that we experience in our lives causes us to look at things differently. If you go through, say you have multiple relationships and they all failed, and maybe you're just like, no one's out here going to love me, or I'm done with relationships because they'll never work out. People always doing. I had a relationship, and in 2020, I decided to stop looking at everybody else, and I just put the mirror on myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on a journey of healing and self discovery. When I tell you, when I said that, my perspective on my life and the things that I have experienced in my life shifted so much. I went back to my childhood. I started the journey in my childhood, and from my childhood, coming all the way up to 42, I could totally see, I could totally see how unresolved matters from my childhood affected my adulthood. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm 40. I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that I can't do because when I was younger, or my mother didn't love me, or my father wasn't there. Like, I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that. I want to be able to say, someone say, hey, I want you to score this documentary. I want to be able to say, send me the video and give me some time and I'll work with it. That's what I want to be able to do. I don't want to be like, I don't know, maybe, knowing the entire time that's what I want to do. I said, after my father passed, I started looking at life totally different. Totally different. Like, you ever like love someone so much and then you're talking to them and you don't really think about how much you're talking to them, or you're hanging out with them, or they're calling you. You don't really realize that until after they're no longer here. And then it's like you're trying to find voicemails or text messages and stuff. And I was just thinking like, man, and then my father passed November 2021, and then 2022 my mom had a massive stroke. And so it totally shifted my perspective on my life, on my parents' life. It totally changed how I looked. Like, I'm getting older. Not only am I getting older, my parents are older. So I started to think like, man, like, you know, it's not funny, but a lot of parents make jokes about their kids putting them in nursing homes, and I just thought to myself like, going back and forth to like a slew of doctors with my mother, and I was like, I would never put my mom in a nursing home. I would never. Especially given how those people, not all people treat people in nursing homes bad, but I wouldn't do it. And just watching her, like, because to me, my mom is the strongest woman I have ever met, ever, with the exception of my grandmother, on this planet. And so to see my mom going back and forth to the doctors and everything, it just put it in perspective for me that I need to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do. Get my checkups regularly, make sure I'm going to doctor visits, making sure that I'm taking physical therapy and all the other things that they have. And then I thought, and I said to my brothers, I said, you know what? Any event that something happens to your daughters, there will be a really well kept record because my mother has my grandmother, I have my mother and mine's, and so that anyone that comes after us, there's a record. It's not like, hey, has anyone in your family had diabetes, and you're sitting there like, I don't know. Has anyone in your family had mental illness? Has anyone in your family had cancer? Like, I can literally go down and say who has what. And so for me, when I was younger, I didn't even see that as being important. But as I'm older now, I completely understand it. So I'm making sure that I keep records because there are two younger women, they're younger women, three younger women. Oh, I'm sorry, Lauren. It's three younger women underneath me, and I want to make sure that they have all the records so that they know and that their parents have it. When I think about shifted perspective, sometimes we be so hell bent on seeing life the way that we want to see it that we just overlooked different situations. I overlooked a lot in situations because I love, when I say, you hear people say I love hard. I love hard. I think I love to my own detriment, and sometimes I just don't know when to stop loving. I don't think we ever stop loving. I think I needed to learn how to care about myself more than other people. And when I say that, sorry, my lips felt incredibly dry. When I say that, I mean I need to put myself. I was the type of person that like go above and beyond for everybody else. But when it came to myself, I'll half-ass it. Like, I know I need to get some sleep, but if somebody called me, I'm getting up like, hey, okay, I'm on my way. Like, I never took care of myself the way that I would take care of someone else. And so 2022 taught me it's time for you to care for yourself. So as I'm caring for myself, I'm thinking about the business that I do. I'm thinking about YouTube. I'm thinking about social media, period. I'm thinking about everything. And it's just like, I just want to live. You know, I just want to live. I don't want to just have, thank you. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you too. I just want to live. I want to see the sights. I just want to live. I don't even know how to put that in words. Like, I just want to live. I don't want to worry, like, okay, am I going to be able to pay a bill? Of course, we have worries and all of those things. I don't want that to consume my life. I just want to live. I want to wake up and be like, I'm streaming all day today and just be able to stream because everything else in my life is taken care of. That's what I want to do. And so I literally have been dealing with everything. Um, from business to personal to interpersonal to everything. I've like my perspective has totally been shifted. Totally. Everything I thought, everything I felt, it's not like that anymore. Like um you ever be so hell bent on like, yeah, I need to get this car or I need to get this job, and then you get that job and it's like, yeah, I don't really like this job. I don't even know why I wanted this job. And now you're contemplating all those things. It's like, because we didn't even like, whenever, like with my business, right? I'll use my business as an example, right? I know that what I am going to do or what I am doing currently is going to change many artists' trajectories, and not saying like, oh, it's gonna make so many people go viral or famous, but it will make them a lot of money over a long period of time. And so when I'm talking to artists, it seems like we're in a time where everybody wants that fast. If it's fast, oh, I could just do this and I can get that fast. Or I could take some photos from Amazon, put them on my thing saying I'm selling. And then it's fast. We want that fast life. But I'm like, you know what? I could show you how to get it now, and I could show you how to get it for the rest of your life. The rest of your life, so and so that if something happens to you, your children and your children's children could like eat off of, what you're doing. And like some people just don't get it. It's like, yeah, no, I need to get this money right now though. I need to, and I'm just like, I got to figure out how to reach you. And I feel like this last couple of weeks, just talking to different people in my industry, um, I just talking to artists, just understanding and watching documentaries and reading and just understanding like I know how to get to people now. I know how to get to you. I know how to make you hear what I'm saying, even if you never hear it from me, but you watch a video that I say. But I know how to I know how to get you to listen to me now. And so it took me going through the pitches. It took me speaking to people. It took me understanding like, okay, I have all these skills, talents, giftings, and I'm not doing as much as I could because I'm afraid. What am I afraid of? I'm afraid that I'm actually going to have to be able to do this or not be able to, but I will have to do this. Not that I can't do it cuz I literally have a book with webinars. I have ebook outlines. When I tell y'all I have everything, just I have whiteboards with my hopes, dreams, and aspirations, things that I'm literally doing right now. And it's just like I gotta go harder. It's like I'm going halfway. It's like, oh, let me put my foot in or put my toe in. No, it's time for me to put my whole body in it. And so, um, just having the conversations with these people definitely pushed me to change my perspective. I thought like, yeah, I'm just gonna be able to help just this segment of people. And then it was like you can work with entertainers, you can work with basketball players, you can work with, and I was just like, I'm gonna do that. I'm focused. My main focus is music. However, I can transfer what I do with music into entertainment, into collegiate sports, all of these different things. So I said all of that because I'm shifting my perspective. I've just been focused on live stream lately here on YouTube, but I'm coming back to video because I'm in that space again. I wasn't in a space where I just sit down, take the time, do a video, edit it, upload it. I wasn't in that space. I just wanted to live, and I wanted you guys to see like how I'm living. And how I'm living right now is caring for myself and building my businesses and building my brands and just helping those around me. That's how I'm living. That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm enjoying life because I'm really enjoying it. And I know it's only gonna get better. Um, I had a conversation with someone today, and I was like, I've never said I wouldn't get married again. Like I would. I really feel like I would. I really feel like um, I feel like I would. Not anytime soon. Definitely not anytime soon. I just feel like I'm at the place where like I'm healed. I know there's a lot of other things that I'm still healing from, but I feel like I am healed of in that manner where I would like date or possibly eventually one day get married again. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. My perspective on marriage still hasn't changed. And my perspective is that many people only want to be married because that's what it was, that's the household that they were brought up in. Not saying that they're brought up in a two-parent household, but like marriage is like the ultimate thing. And for me, just having somebody that could support me and love me and I could communicate with, like that's the end all for be all for me. Because everything else we could figure it out as long as we talk. But if we don't talk, yeah. If you want to run to someone, yeah, it's not gonna work. But you gotta shift your perspective. Maybe you like, man, this job sucks so bad. But if you think about it, maybe you want to start your own business and time management and just um, figuring out profits and loss, like whatever it is that you're doing at your job, look at that as a way to say, I need to start figuring out how to do these things for my business. You know, that's what I'm doing. Every accelerator, even being here on social media, YouTube or Twitch or Kick or TikTok or any one of the social medias I'm on, I'm understanding community. I understand how important it is to keep your schedules, keep the time. I understand all those things. I understand how important it is to even share on your social medias that you're live. So I'm going to do better by that. I have definitely been testing out a lot of content and seeing what worked and what didn't work. And so it's just shifting your perspective. I can't be like, oh, this isn't going to work if I've never tried it, if I've never even envisioned myself or never even had any experience with it. I can't say it won't work. If I try it and it don't work, at least I'll have the opportunity to take from it to say, okay, this worked, this didn't work, and then keep moving. But I'm not going to go too much further. I just want to come and say, hey, it's time to shift your perspective. You survived a global fucking pandemic for 3 years. I was telling someone, I said, you remember how you felt in 2020 when you couldn't go outside, you couldn't go to work, you couldn't go anywhere. You wanted to go by your mom's house, you wanted to go to the backyard barbecue, you wanted to do all that stuff, but we couldn't because we were in the house. And then they started to relax it and say, hey, if you want to come out, you got to go get this shot. And then it was like, nah, I don't know nothing about that shot because I don't know. You see how many times our perspective has shifted since 2020? Right now, I'm like, you know what? You want to start that business. You probably like, I don't have any money. I'm going to tell you right now, there's so much money out here for you to do whatever it is that you want to do. And I don't mean PPP loan. I mean like real life grant money. There is accelerator money. There's money out here to help you get to where you want to go in life. You just got to take that extra step and go do it. Shift your perspective. I can't do this business because I don't got no money. The money is out there. You need to have a plan. That's the most important thing to everything right now. Shifting your perspective is having a plan. Maybe you want to be married in the next 2 years. Who are you going to marry? Why are you going to marry them? Do you really want to be married? I'm at the space right now. It's like, you don't have to be married. I don't think you have to be married. I think we've just been talked about how fancy. I think marriage has been talked about so much that we just like, yeah, I just got to get married, get married. Like, I remember people who are now my age were like, yeah, I'm going to be married by 25, 28, 26. Some of them is my age and older and still not married. And think about it, right? It's time for you to shift your perspective. If you've been holding on to a hope that you're going to do something this entire time, but number one, you haven't made any steps to do it, it's time for you to shift your perspective. You can't just sit and say, I'm going to have a really nice car. You don't know what kind of car. You don't know where to get the car from. You don't even know how to drive a car. You can't just say, you're going to have that. You want to get a house. I want to buy a house. You don't know anything about buying a house. You don't know if you want to buy it outright and just pay taxes. You don't know if you want a mortgage. You don't know how long you want that mortgage. Like, you don't know what area you want to live in. You want a ranch style house. Do you want a duplex? Do you want a multi-unit? Like, whatever it is that you want to do, don't just toss it up in the air and just wait and hope that something happens. I want you to take this week and shift your perspective. I want you to say, I want to start a business. Whatever business you want to start, YouTube, Google, TikTok. So much information out here. And put in, maybe you want to be a makeup artist, how to be a makeup artist. Maybe you want to start a trucking business. Trucking right now, I'm telling you, if you want to get in the trucking business right now, is definitely the time to figure it out because the content on trucking is amazing. That's not my lane, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'll try to be over there. I tried. I went and got my CDL or took my CDLs. I took the written portion. They brought this big old coach bus and was like, "Hey, it's time for you to do your road." I'm looking at that coach bus like it's a no for me. It's a no. All you gotta do is go around at the. It's a no. Now I can whip big trucks, right? I can. I think it was a thought in my mind. Actually, what I'm saying is I should definitely go ahead and do that because I didn't do it because of fear. See how that just works? Shifting my perspective. I didn't do that because I was afraid. I didn't want to put anybody else's life in jeopardy because that's where I was at that time. But now I'm like, yeah, I got to do it now. That's so crazy. I got to do it. Everything that I was afraid to do before, I'm going to do it. I even want to go skydiving, but I'm not about to jump on no plane. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go to the big turbine things where you get in, you put the suit on and then like blow you up. I'm gonna have to do that first. And then maybe I'll elevate up to there. But I have to get that experience first. I have to get that experience first. But no, if I want you to take this week, if you have an idea that you want to do, whether it's start a YouTube, start a business, maybe you just want to talk, have a real conversation, maybe you want to have a nurturing conversation with someone. I want you to take this week. It might not even take you a whole week. Take tomorrow, start of the week. Tomorrow, I want you to sit down tonight, not tomorrow, tonight. I want you to sit down with a piece of paper and I want you to write down your goals, hopes, goals, and aspirations. And then I want you to write down action plans. Like if you want to start a YouTube channel, do some research on what you want to start the channel on. Do you want to do mukbangs? Do you want to do pranks? Do you want to do challenges? Do you want to do hauls? Do you want to do music reviews? Do you want to do movie reviews? Like what do you want to do an all karaoke channel? Like what do you want your channel to consist of? And then when you figure that out, what is it going to take for you to get your channel up? Like my objective from now until the end of this year is to have 3,000 videos for this year. 3,000 videos. And I can do that because I told you how many videos I had in 2022. I can do that. I definitely can do that. And so I'm starting in the morning to get back to videos. I'm working on my intro and everything now. It's not going to be nothing too fancy. Nothing too fancy, but it's going to be fancy. And that's me putting together my skills because I know how to do graphic design. I know how to cut, edit video. I know how to do all of that. I just didn't do it. And now I shifted my perspective. Do you know how much money you could save if you could do something? Do it yourself. And that's not to take money out of anybody else's pocket, but that's saving you money. If you know how to make a flyer, if you know how to draw your own books or illustrate your own books or whatever it is that you know how to do. If you know how to do that, do it. I was looking at my brother like, hey, you went to school to learn how to cut hair, cosmetology. Is that what it is? You know, you went to school to learn how to do that. Why you don't cut your own hair? I let him cut my hair. I ain't even worried about it because all I do is just cut my sides off. I'm good. But it shifted my perspective. I can go over here and pay $20 or I can come here and you want to get back into doing that. So go ahead and do it. As long as you don't cut my hair. Sometimes we get a little close to my hair. But it's okay because I'm the type of person, I like I have my concert series, right? And one of the artists was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to do that. And I'm talking to her. I was like, but I've watched you perform. Like you are really good. You're really good on the stage. And I feel like this will only elevate your stage presence to another level. And they was like, are you sure? Like you feel like? And I was like, yes. Look at it as an opportunity to figure it out. I had a conversation with my niece today. She had a loose tooth. It was, when I say loose, I mean loose. It was so cute because she just wiggling it. And so she was crying and I'm like, why are you crying? She was like, I'm afraid or I'm scared. And I was like, why are you scared? And she was like, because I don't want to swallow it and I don't want it to hurt. And I was like, okay, here's the options that you have. I don't know. Um, in my journey of healing and self-discovery, I realized that I love the fact that I have always had options in my life. I love that. I don't like when people take away my options or like make a decision for me. I like to make my own decisions. So I'm telling her, I'm like, you have two options. You could either pull it out, and you already know by having your previous teeth pulled out that it's going to hurt if you pull it out, or you could just let it fall out by itself and it's not going to hurt. And she's like, but it's going to hurt. And I was like, is it hurting right now? And she's like, no, it's not hurting. She's still crying though. I was like, no, it's not hurting. And I was like, so if you pull it out, you know it's going to hurt. And I said, if you don't pull it out and it just falls out, and she's like, it won't hurt. She's like, but I'm still scared. And I was like, well, what are you scared of? I might swallow it. I said, no, because you know that your tooth is loose. So your mind is going to say, hey, the tooth isn't there anymore, right? We had this whole conversation. She went from boo-hoo crying to like calm down crying. She's like, but what if I don't think about it and I swallow it? I was like, it's okay. It'll be fine. It's just a tooth. It'll come back. And then she was like, okay. So she leaves out of here and go in the living room. And I had made waffles. And I think she like bit in the waffle or got ready to bite in the waffle. And the tooth like, doop. And she came running back in. It's like, TT, it fell out and it didn't even hurt. And I was like, see, you have to shift your perspective. You're looking at it and you're thinking about the last time that somebody pulled your tooth out that it hurt it. But if you think about it and you let it fall out on its own, it's not going to hurt. Even she was like, oh my God, TT. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going to talk about shifted perspective because I was thinking, like, you know what? I have a business. When you're an entrepreneur, they tell you to, oh, go get grant funding, get loans, and all of these things. And I was thinking to myself, like, I don't have to do that because I have a business where I can go direct to the artist and say, hey, here's what I do. Here's what I know you need, or what do you need? Here's what I do. Let's work together. Boom. I was looking for funding and doing all this thing because that's what they tell you you're supposed to do when you get in the entrepreneur space. And I'm not saying don't go look for money because you should, because there's a lot of money out here. What I'm saying is if you can bootstrap it, if you can do whatever it is that you need to do, you could find your own building, you could set up your own YouTube or whatever it is, do that. Only go for the grants and the loans, and when you don't have, like, you tapped out of everything, only do that. And I'm saying this as somebody who has been in a space, and it's like I was telling someone, like, whenever I experience something, I like to tell other people, so you don't have to go. Like, I went 50 blocks this way, turned to the left, and 20 more blocks. You don't have to do all of that. I'm gonna tell you, hey, when you get up there to like 48th block, that 48th block, make a left. Don't go right because you're gonna go 20 more blocks. Make a left, then make another right, and then go straight. I'm gonna tell you. I would rather tell you, like, I go to these accelerators. I be telling everybody, get you an LLC, get you an EIN, or if you're trying to do corporations, read. Reading is fundamental. Read, research, ask. Read, research, ask. Those are my things that I be telling everybody. I even tell my niece, like, there's no stupid questions. Ask. If you don't know, you don't understand, you need help, ask. I make sure to tell them that. People might look at you and people might be like, why are you asking? Ask. You know how many adults are walking around right now that want to ask questions, want to get help, want to get further than they are in their life, but they are afraid to ask questions. So they're afraid of how people will look at them. Listen, I don't care how you going to look at me. If me asking you a question is going to help me get to that next level, I'm going to ask as many questions as you allow me to. I got some news, and I was like, it's cool. I mean, I kind of figured, the news I was going to get, but I was like, why? I wanted to know why. I asked the question of why, and then I got the information. It was like, hey, send these people an email. And I was like, okay, Monday morning, who's sending out emails? There's 6 people on this committee. I want to know why. Not just why. How do you feel that I can do it better? What do you feel will make it better? Because the only person that can really tell you is the person who told you. You get denied for the position. Only person who could tell you why you got denied is the person who was actually filling the position. That's all I want to talk about. Shifted perspectives. You have survived a global fucking pandemic for 3 years. If your perspective hasn't shifted at all, you might want to take into consideration where you are in your life. Go on a journey of healing self-discovery. Now, if you plan to do that, I'm going to tell you, 1, be honest with yourself. A lot of people are like, I won't lie to myself. I ain't going to let people be lying to themselves all the time. Be in situations where they are not loved, appreciated, or respected, and still feel like one day it's going to happen. Hello, Trish. How are you? Tell yourself the truth. Change your perspective. I know a lot of times, like, I was even like, no, this is what it is. No, that's what happened. And then I'm talking to my friend, and she's much older, and she's just like, no, it sounds to me like, and I was just like, whoa, I didn't even think about that. Now I got to think about it because I didn't think about it. And then she's just talking, and I'm just like, oh my God, that is so crazy because I was not thinking about it like that. I just thought, like, you experienced, like, we could have did something else. Like, we could have just, but the way she was telling me, it was just like, man, it changed my perspective about everything. And then I went back and was just like, yeah, I could see that. I could see how that could be. I could see that. And it wasn't like I was being defensive because I was real life listening. I was like, wait, how did you get that from? And then I'm talking to them, and it's like, it's good to have other people's perspective, I don't be like, yeah, let me hear what you got to say. But it's good to have other people's perspective because it changes, it shifts your perspective. Like when I said I called, like I real life called my competitor. I had to do this because people, the industry we're in, like, hey, that's your competitor. You shouldn't talk to them. And I would call them. It's like, hey, you know, how what did you use? Like what? And they was actually pretty dope because they ran it down. Like we did this, and this is what we did, and this is how you do it. This is where you go to do it. Hey, you need to go over here and look here. And I was thinking to myself, like, what if I was just sitting there like, oh, that's my competitor. I can't talk to them. No. If you want to know something that somebody is doing how you do, call them. And yeah, I know everybody be like, oh, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to do it. If they won't tell you, somebody will. Shift your perspective. You trying to get somewhere and you been doing it by yourself for a long time. Maybe it's time to bring somebody else on. Maybe it's time for you to get a partner or join forces with somebody. Hey, I realized that I'm playing these concert series and I was like, you know what? I can't do it by myself. Before, I would have did it by myself with no problem. I would have been struggling everything, still trying to make it work. Right now, it's like, no, I need you to handle this. Could you come and handle this for me? Could you do this for me? Are you available? Can you? And I've been fortunate for people to be saying yes. People can see the vision. People can see what I want to do or how I am going to change the culture of the community here. Um, and they're helping me. And I could not be more grateful for that. Because it took me going on a journey of healing and self discovery and realizing that I need to shift my perspective. I am bigger, I am greater, I am more knowledgeable, I am more experienced, I am far more intelligent and beautiful than anything that I have ever endured in my life. You probably think like, oh, I had another failed relationship, so who gonna love me? Love yourself first. Once you love yourself, it won't even matter who love you. And that right person gonna come along because they gonna see how much you love yourself and just be like, dang, I need to know them. Do that. Love yourself first. Sometimes we get so lost in jobs and people and relationships and situationships that we forget who we are and what we love and what we like. But once that perspective gets shifted, you'll start paying attention. I'm paying attention if y'all haven't. So I'm talking about shifted perspective. It is time for you to see things not for what you want them to be, but for what they are. Because if you can see things for what they are, you can change them into what you want them to be. Shift your perspective. That's all I got. If you're watching and you are a mother, happy Mother's Day. I know every day is Mother's Day, but this day has been set aside for you. Happy Mother's Day. I hope that you feel love. I hope that you feel support. I hope that you feel encouraged to continue to be a great mom. That's all I got. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. Okay, I'll be right in there, okay? Close the door. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. That is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling or what you are thinking. It is important for you to love yourself. This includes your faults, fears, and failures. And I say that because when we are high, when we got that job, the guy, the girl, we live in the life, we got good health, we love ourselves. Yeah, I did that, I did. But when we make a mistake, we want to beat ourselves up. We want to feel down. It's like we are the lowest people in the world, but you're not. You're still that same person that was just high the other day. You're that same person. You're just having a bad day. And listen, as a 42-year-old woman who will be 43 next month, bad days come and go. Can you go over there, please? I'm coming right in there, okay? Thank you. I know he's about to come here and talk my ear off. I don't want y'all to hear that because it's Mother's Day. And if you're a mother, you should go hang out with your kids. But anyways, love yourself. Love yourself enough to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. We give it to everybody else, but sometimes we have to turn that grace and give it to ourselves. Know yourself. Trust yourself. trust. You know, when you ever been somewhere and like the hairs on your neck stand up, or you have the feeling in the pit of your stomach, or you get goosebumps, or something is screaming to you, don't do it, or don't go, or don't say, trust that. Listen to it, because it's not going to lead you wrong. You ever been like, you ever did something, but your mind, or you heard that the things that I just mentioned, and then it happened, and you be like, dang, I should have followed my first mind. In 2023, let's start following our first minds. Let's start doing that. And then most importantly, be yourself. Why? Because you need you, I need you, your kids need you, your husband, your wife, the world needs you to be exactly who you were created to be. Now listen, you have survived a global fucking pandemic. I'm gonna keep saying that because I don't know if we be paying attention, because we have, because we could have, I know I could have died in 2020, 2021, hell, 2022. These last 3 years ain't been a walk in the park for me. So everything I ever wanted to do in life, I am doing it. Afraid, no money, no support, I'm doing it. I could have died any one of those years before now. I could have died. I'm here. I'm doing everything I ever wanted to do. But I'm saying that because anybody that cannot love, respect, or appreciate you for being authentically you, it is time for you to set boundaries. Sometimes we have to set boundaries with our family members, the people we love, our parents, our kids. We have to set boundaries. Set those boundaries and stand 10 toes down on them. If people have been running over you your entire life, set that boundary. In 2023, I done survived a global fucking pandemic. You're not about to not know more. What once was is no longer, and no longer will be. If you haven't been paying attention to the news, I want you to start paying attention to the world news. Not just your local news. Pay attention to the world news. Because you know there's a lot of people out here that didn't even know that there was a train derailment in Ohio. And there was a lot of repercussions from that. You should definitely check out the world news. Um, Kiss your children, kiss your loved ones, kiss your spouse before they leave, and always end the conversation with "I love you." That's my new things. That's how I'm gonna end it. Always end the conversation with "I love you," because you never know if that will be the last time you will ever speak to that person again. And I want you to know that if that is, you'll know that they love you, which is why I say that's all I got. Until next time, I love you. You're probably like, you don't even know me. I know you enough that you come here and you listen to me speak. You listen to me speak for an hour right now, but I love you. I love everything there is about you, from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. And you are important. You are enough. And that's all I got. Until next time, I love you. Peace.